Hello, Anthem fans, and welcome to Freelancer Radio, your home for all things Anthem. This is episode 21, MummaRocks. I'm your host, KJ, and let's check in with the rest of the team. Mr. Justin Benitez, Ronaldo Machaco. Andrew.
What's up, everybody?
Oh, we don't have the crickets this week. What's up?
Yeah, I'm still working on that one.
Marlon.
Buffalo. All right. Hey, guys, what's up?
Oh, goodness. Maybe we'll get into that little short story later.
Oh, Lord.
The buffalo. Okay.
Yes.
And we have our special guest today, that MummaRocks. We're going to go call her Mumma today.
Hello, everyone.
And we're going to be getting into some pretty exciting stuff today. Getting into some Anthem news, a little bit of EA controversy type stuff. Maybe talk some Stadia and even some Nintendo Switch Lite. So it should be a pretty interesting show. I'm looking forward to it. So we met Mumma on Twitter, and she's been had a lot of vocal representation, and she's quite the Anthem fan. So, Mumma, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what do you like about BioWare games, Anthem games? What brought you to the gaming scene?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a writer / blogger, and I'd taken a break for a little while, and Anthem came out. So I liked it. I used to play Dragon Age. I'm a big Dragon Age fan and a big Mass Effect fan. So when Anthem came out, I was a bit unsure because it was something quite different than what they'd done before.
Mm-hmm.
But I gave it a go and I really enjoyed it. But then I thought I could use my platform to get the word across for Anthem, because you tended to see a lot of bad news about Anthem. I understand that there's like feedback, constructive feedback, but a lot of it was negative. And I thought, well, maybe if somebody could, just get the community up and pumped a bit for it, So it's not all bad, but there's some good as well. And it's like the community is amazing.
It really has been. I mean, and they've rallied behind, a lot of different people, and and I know you've been a big cheerleader out there for Anthem itself, and you've really kind of pumped up the community. So we certainly appreciate you for that. And obviously, not all the news that's come out from Anthem has been good news. I mean, we've been fighting an uphill battle here.
Yeah.
But so you said that you were a blogger previously, and what kind of things did you blog about?
So before, I blogged about like lifestyle, and like beauty and stuff like that. So, but then I took a break. But I have got a new site coming out which will cover Anthem. So at the moment I'm covering Anthem, and I will be until the game finishes. So I know a lot of people have been worried about that. Oh, are you going to go? And no, I'm sticking with it.
Wow,
right to the end.
That's awesome.
So,
yeah. That's really cool that you had quite a following before with the beauty and lifestyle type stuff.
Yeah, quite a large following. Yeah. So, but now I'm using that as a way to get I'm all for constructive criticism anyway. If I've got a problem with something, I'll say about it, like the wrap prices. But at the same time, I'm not going to be negative all the time about it, because I know there is a lot of people that enjoy the game.
Oh, there certainly is. And I think the community itself has made a turn in the way that it was really nasty and negative for a very long time there. And a lot of those people that were of that mindset have kind of just they've dropped off and they've gone away.
Yeah. Yeah, I've
And-
noticed that a lot. Yeah, it's gotten more positive. Like
Yes.
the community itself has taken a more positive turn than it had before. So a lot before it was very, very toxic, and I mean, some people still can be now, but I've noticed quite a significant change in the amount of people I've had messaging me saying, "Oh, well, I weren't going to play Anthem before because I'd heard all these bad things, but I've seen you speak about it, and you know what? I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to play it."
Well, that's pretty awesome. We're certainly glad to have those people, join the club and stronger together. So I've always made sure that is a hashtag I place on all of our posts, and try to keep
It's just appropriate, isn't it?
It really is. I've said that before. It's like they couldn't have picked a better slogan.
I know, right? When it first came out, I was a bit like, yeah, but now it makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully, it would have been nice if we didn't have to go through all the hardships to get there, but at the same time, it did become very appropriate in the way the slogan worked out. So you go by that MummaRocks. Where did that come from? A lot of people have stories. You are a mom. Okay.
And I don't, you know what? I don't actually know. I was thinking one day and I was like, what can I call myself? And I was like, well, maybe I could incorporate the mum, and I kind of like rock music. So I was like, oh, that MummaRocks. It's like, yeah, it's caught on. Yeah. And now I don't go by my real name. Everyone calls me Mumma. I'm like, what?
Well, everybody calls me KJ, so I don't go by my real name either.
Yeah, I don't have a real name online. Just
and we all call Justin Ronaldo, so now.
Well, at first it was another name. It was another name at one point, which I didn't.
He did not enjoy that.
Let's not talk about the other name. So Ronaldo Machaco is definitely an improvement.
It's a step up. And yeah, now we've started calling Andrew the quiet man because he's so vocal. Right, Andrew?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. He said his one line for the show. He's done.
Yeah.
I was surprised he didn't type that out.
Peace out, people. Somehow.
He's going to send a message.
Like, I get the feeling that after what happened last night with us playing Destiny, I think I finally figured out what's going to be my new nickname with you guys from now on. I just know it. And I know Justin will not let me live it. But
Marlon's the Buffalo Soldier.
Oh, God. Buffalo Soldier.
Oh, my goodness.
Lord.
All right. Well, let's get into some of the Anthem Updates news, things that are out there and going around. We can kind of touch on a few of these. I don't know. There was an EA Unplugged video that came out earlier this week. It was rather interesting. It wasn't just Anthem. It was several other studios. And they kind of did almost like a roundtable type version. And they even had a couple of streamers that were involved in it. Kind of talked about some of the difficulties of, I guess, putting together a game and making it all the functions and things work. I understand what they're trying to do with this type of format. It kind of humanizes everything and gives gamers a little bit of a look and an insight into what some of the developers are thinking and doing and how they feel about certain things. At the same time, I don't know. It kind of felt to me like a little bit of an apology tour / excuse for some of the things that have gone on with the game. And I guess my biggest problem with Anthem currently is the fact that all of us people on console do not have the PTS, So we're not really, and not that it's the new content. I guess it's practicing for new content because they don't get to actually keep any of the things they earn in there. But, we're not able to test out the Cataclysm. The Cataclysm's not live. I feel a little left out. I don't know. Maybe anybody else feeling that way?
It feels like we're in a wait and see situation with the console portion of the game, because we're looking at the PC players and we're looking at what's happening with the PTS and the amount of changes that they're making to the system, to the base weapons and stuff like that, and all the goodies that we as console players would love to have. So we're just looking from the outside in, kind of like if you were like a little kid in Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, and you're looking at this huge store that sells all the toys, and you can't get in there, and you're just looking and going, I want that, I kind of want to have that, but I can't. So that's for me personally is how I feel with this PTS. I get it. There's many red tape to cut through for the consoles to get this type of I want to say testing grounds for them, but again, it's for me, I'm looking at this whole situation as like, okay, just wait and see until that drops for us.
So how long does a PTS usually last for?
Well, they said it. I mean, originally they said it was going to be a couple of weeks, but it's now. I mean, we're well into a month.
PTS usually, at least I remember for Diablo, it lasted, I want to say, about 2 months. Between seasons. And, it was just basically trying to get the game to a stable condition where everything worked fine and there wasn't any big bugs that they were not going to encounter when putting it into the console. So,
that's the major thing, though, guys. I mean, you got to think about this. I mean, this Cataclysm, as much as I don't think that this is the end-all, be-all of potential Anthem content, right? There's got to be something bigger, better on the horizon. But at the same time, if BioWare just flubs this thing, I mean, that could potentially be the end of Anthem as we know it. I mean, it's going to be hard for EA to back the product if they don't. I think that's why they're holding off so much, on this, is they want to make sure it's 100% perfect before they roll it out there.
I agree. I mean, you can only hold off for so long, though. Yeah.
Mama, I know you're shaking your head there, nodding yes. What are your thoughts on the PTS? Tell me what you think.
I understand that it's taken them time, and for the right reasons, like you said. They don't want to roll it out and then there be this big, everything's wrong with it. But at the same time, it's so frustrating. So frustrating. I think it's because we, like, as console players, haven't had any update, not even a little one, for so long now. And it's kind of like, in regards to us, they're being quiet with us because obviously we're not playing the PTS. The only people that they're really communicating with is the people that play the PTS.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, this EA Unplugged thing was kind of like the only real communication that I've seen. From them in quite a while. I mean, you've got the guys, Jesse and Drew, Ben, they all communicate. I mean, I think Cameron Dayton, the guy who's in charge of narrative, actually talks more than the rest of those guys. He should be the community manager at this point. But I mean, we're not getting any real communication out of anybody. And I did see someone attempting to be nasty to one of these guys, and I don't like when they do that, but it brought up a valid point. They said something to the effect of, I'm not going to quote it directly, but said something to the effect of, I don't understand why you as the community manager is not actually managing the community. Because you know what it was, is someone sent out the Prospero weekly rollout, right? Like I always send that out. I send a picture and
Yeah.
kind of the rundown of what everything costs that week, and I complain about how much the wraps cost.
Yeah.
And
So is every single twice a week. There I am.
and then basically one of the community managers chimed in on one of these, and then somebody was like, "Yeah, they're doing your job," to the community manager. Like,
Yeah.
you should be taking care of stuff like this. And I, as much as I thought it was a pretty nasty kind of slap at the guy, it's got some truth to it. I hate to say that.
KJ, you're hired.
No, I think it is that if we all remember prior to Anthem releasing, everyone was so active on there, and I get because of the backlash and but it's just such a difference from just before it came out, and when it actually did come up to where we are now, where everyone is just, do you know what I mean? It's
well, there's such a different feel to the community now. I don't understand why they're not starting to talk it back up again.
Because so many more people are interested. They're out there. And but all they want to know is they just want to know stuff.
Yeah. Even
if it's just a little bit.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I mean that's the community's biggest concern. So, what did you think about the EA Unplugged? Were you able to take a look at that at all?
I did watch it. Do you know what? I enjoyed it because I like all that behind the scenes stuff. I like to know, the process of it and everything like that. But I think EA are in a sticky situation at the moment, and that may have been why they done it.
Mm-hmm.
And
I like how they brought in. What's the other one that they brought in there? That the Battle Royale game.
Apex.
Apex.
Oh,
Apex.
Yeah.
They brought in the guy from Apex too at the same time.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, look, here's a game that did really well, and he's still having trouble too. It was like, oh,
it's trouble for him as well.
Pay attention to the pretty pony over here,
Yeah.
Justin, what did you think about the EA Unplugged kind of talk or chat there?
I thought it was kind of vague.
Really?
True. Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, you're pinned up against you're up against the wall, so it's like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And if you put anything out there, it can backlash.
You know what it was, Justin? That time that you and Ben Irvin were standing face to face.
Yeah.
You were juke moving each other.
I did.
That was literally just practice for him for that EA.
That was our father-daughter dance moment.
Oh my God.
He went this way, and then I went that way, and then we just...
That sort of awkward thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, okay, I'm going that way.
The fact is that I had just enough time to, when I was doing that with him, I was able to read his name tag, and I'm like, "You're Ben Irving," and I was like, "Dude," I told him, I said, "You're doing such, the game it's a beautiful game. Keep up the good work, and don't leave me disappointed." And he just gave me this, this nod of approval, like no problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, sure.
And I told him to give me a shout out on Twitter, which I have not yet.
You haven't had yet.
Ben Irvin was probably going, "Who is this guy? Who is this guy called Ronaldo Machaco?"
Who is he trying to dance with me?
It clearly scared him. And my skill.
Andrew, were you able to watch that at all? That EA, the EA.
I did not get to watch that one.
You didn't get to watch that one? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I I don't know. I feel like it is a little bit of a dance right now for those guys. I understand why the community managers are not engaging as much as they could be, but at the same time, it's like we need them to start saying something. I mean, just
anything really.
I'll
at this
tell you
point.
why for me feels like this has been, like a hide behind the scenes and just try to keep quiet as much as possible. Because number one, you have two games that, while were in positions to be like the next big thing when it comes to just console gaming and stuff like that, they kind of, one of them flopped badly in Anthem. The other one was Battlefront 2, and Apex, who nobody thought was gonna be successcul at all, and they
nobody
literally
even knew about it. Like,
well,
just
that's the
came out
thing.
of nowhere.
Nobody knew about Apex. Nobody was even speculating it was going to be bad. It just
and the one thing about it was the fact that this game basically saved their skin for a little while to appease the masses when it comes to the way that EA as a whole is being put up into the front of the gaming industry. And EA is probably telling them, listen, don't talk, just work, fix this, and if we can smooth it out, and just go through these turbulent waters for the meantime, we can finally just get into open sea and relax. But I feel like that's what they're doing right now, just literally hunkering down and trying to come up with a decent product that people can enjoy. But the problem with that is the community is very fickle at times. We've seen this. We want to be catered to. We want the information to come to us so we can actually enjoy it, and we feel like our voices are being heard in this communication, and we're not just a silent protagonist looking in, hopefully that some good thing will come to us.
Andrew.
And the silent protagonist.
Think about it. EA, as of right now, the company is not doing well. They've been dealing with issues left and right between Washington, between politics, between just the way that
over there in London too. They're busting on EA too, if I remember correctly. Weren't they in front of Parliament there or something?
Yes, to do with the loot boxes.
Yeah, to deal with the loot boxes.
No, they're not loot boxes.
I'm sorry.
What are they called?
Surprise mechanics.
Surprise mechanics.
God.
Yeah, because that's much better, right?
How dare you?
It's a surprise mechanic.
I'm
it's
sorry.
A fun thing
Surprise.
to enjoy. It's like lore. Like when I saw that in the news, I'm like, I bet you that a lot of FIFA fans are looking at this going, yeah, that is not gonna come through us. Okay, this is not a surprise mechanic. Okay, I'm looking for Ronaldo and I'm getting Sterling, for crying out loud. So
is Andrew Sterling?
Andrew is not Sterling. Do not name.
Okay, I was just checking it out because we already have a Ronaldo, so I didn't know if we were trading you in and getting an Andrew.
He can keep his silent title.
The worst trade in history of what? I'm not even gonna get into it. But here's the thing, though. You have EA, the company as a whole, dealing with all these issues. The last thing they need is to BioWare to botch up the PTS and botch up the Cataclysm and just make everything worse for them. So I think with the whole saying no news is good news. It's good news. I think this is what literally they're telling BioWare. Listen, we don't care if it takes longer than what we were hoping for, but as long as you put out a decent product, we're okay. I mean,
I almost feel like they're wanting people to forget about Anthem for a little while so that they can come and here's my I'm always about under promising, over delivering. That is, I really attempt to do that every day at work and in the houses that I build and things like that. But I mean, I think it's almost to a point where they're like almost trying to make as many people forget that Anthem is even out there for a little while. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they'll really bring it. I mean, that's what I'm really hoping is that this Cataclysm comes out and it's just beyond anything that we've seen, that there's a whole lot of surprises in store, and it really just kind of knocks our socks off. I know that expectation is horrible to have because I can't do it.
I will tell you this. You know what I'm thinking that they should do? is they should pull a Square Enix like they did with Final Fantasy 14 around Reborn, which they realized that Final Fantasy 14, when it first came out, was not the product that they were hoping that was going to be. And
yeah, they just shut it down.
And
right?
they literally just shut it down, and they basically reworked it, and they re-released it as Final Fantasy 14 Around Reborn, and it's a heck of a lot better than the first one, I'll tell you that. So, I mean, they could do that with Anthem. They could re-release it with the Cataclysm as this new, much better version of the game, and could bring back, a lot of the fan bases that they have lost. Now, my issue is that I want to see the good fan base return. The people that enjoy the game. I don't want to see people who are salty about the game, who are always just there to complain about the game, whose main issue isn't to enjoy it, but just to make fun of it, to be able to reel in views and money through YouTube, and stuff like that. So it's an interesting way that how BioWare is going to tackle this. I just hope that it's sooner than later, but I mean, think about it. It's a great game, and we wouldn't be doing this podcasting, we wouldn't be doing all this stuff if it wasn't for Anthem. So,
I mean, surprisingly, we still have something to talk about every week for a game that hasn't had updates in months, right?
I know, right?
I don't get it, but I mean, somehow it still works. Speaking of updates, we've had some pretty neat updates that we have seen through the PTS by virtue of all of our other Twitter friends and family that are running around. So, the cool thing is that there's been a lot of weapons that have been shown, and some of these things are, wow. I mean, like insane. Wow. The Jara's Wrath, which was the one that we saw originally in the 2017 E3 debut, and then they've got the Lightning Rod, the Razor Wing. What are some of these other crazy ones we've seen?
Even the names got better for the weapons.
Oh no, it's like finally some like names that sound like guns you want to like shoot them. The chained lightning. I mean, some of these things are just wild looking. One of them looks like you shoot one kind of beam, and then like a beam comes out of the sky and blows things up. A lot of these things act as primers for other things to go in and detonate.
I think there's three new types, and then there's 3 types of each one of those, if I'm not mistaken.
The quiet man.
It's like blade. It's like a blade. I think it's blade slinger, pulse accelerator, and volt caster, if I'm not mistaken.
See, man has knowledge. Okay, just keep your mouth shut and let the man with the knowledge talk. Okay, every once in a while he pipes up, and when he pipes up, everybody needs to listen.
It's gold.
Okay?
Like, think about it. Like, here's the thing. Like Flashfire, which is a legendary volt caster. We have Bad Omen, which is a legendary pulse accelerator. We have Jara's Wrath, which is the legendary volt caster. We have Razor Wing, legendary blade slinger. And the one for me, the craziest looking of the whole thing, is Rizza's Ripper, which looks like badass. It looks so damn cool that for me, I'm looking at these weapons and I'm going, this is something that can bring players back. This is something that has, the weapons looking with character, with personality, that makes you go out there and hunt for these weapons, to go out and look for it. Because remember, Anthem is a loot-based game at its core. If you have amazing loot that makes you want to play the game even more, the players will always go there. I mean, we always give flack to Destiny, but the one thing that everybody was looking for in Destiny 1 was getting Gjallarhorn, right? Everybody wanted that weapon, and you saw a lot of players play a lot of the game to get it, and it wasn't an easy weapon to get. So the fact that you have all these cool weapons like Masterwork, Blaze Slinger, Discharge Storm, that just makes you play the game in a different way, because this is a way of enjoying your ultimate abilities in Anthem, but in a different way. The weapons now become primers. The weapons now have an ability for you to, pull off combos with your buddies that are using other weapons as well.
Well, they have some personality to them, which was something I feel like was lacking at the beginning. I mean, we had Divine Vengeance.
I'm going to push back a little bit on that, actually, because...
All right.
You could have great weapons, no doubt about it. But again, you need the content to support those weapons. I mean, even if I get a lucky random drop tomorrow with like the bolt caster or whatever, and okay, I have this great weapon. Now what?
You gotta go do something with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I got you.
There's a group of grabbits over there. That'll be fun for like 10 minutes. Not even 10 minutes.
Another one. Another rabbit.
Unless it's that new grabbit. They've got the new one, the king grabbit.
Oh yeah.
That one will take you 10 minutes.
Well,
that one's pretty cool. Drops a whole bunch of loot and whatever along the way, and you got to chase it down and kill it, but you got to find it.
Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna play the game to grind out for those weapons, but it's like the chase is there.
And
but then
honestly, I feel like.
And then what? That's a good question.
Yeah.
But there's more than just the 9 weapons. There's
of course.
I think there's
it's just little teases, little gestures, he's a taste. He's a taste.
I mean,
he's a sample.
Hopefully that taste keeps you in Anthem long enough for more updates and the next act, etc.
Here's
a Costco sample. Don't get back in line.
They have we know with the Cataclysm, pre-Cataclysm, we've got a whole new storyline portion that's coming out with it. We know that the guys and gals doing the PTS right now have not played all of that. There's definitely been some missions and things that they've been involved in and checked out. There's definitely new stuff that's coming into free play by virtue of those little small Shaper Storm type things that you can kind of jump into in free play as well, that kind of take you into its own little dungeon type space that you have to work your way through. You've got all the Cataclysm content itself. So there is a reasonable amount of content. The fact is that the content currently is so shallow that even bringing in a larger portion of content really isn't going to give you as much to do as, some of the other games that are out there currently, like a Division 2 or a Destiny. Those have also had a lot of things to build upon by having a Destiny 1 and a Division 1, whereas we didn't have that with Anthem. But I mean, maybe the content will start to get there. With some of the weapons and loot that you've seen come out there, Mumma, what are you thinking about some of those?
Do you know what? I saw one tonight. It's not a weapon, but an armor set. William from your Anthem posted it, and it's a Ranger set. It's
yes.
It looks good. It is really good.
Okay, I'm getting excited. I missed
He's
that.
going to have a look.
I'm going to have to find this.
Go.
It's sick.
The Ranger.
I'm hearing like a leg
badass.
tingle right now.
I'm going to have to talk to William. He's posting things and I'm not seeing them. What's up with that?
The thing that I'm looking for is I really want to get that Storm armor. That for me blew me away when I saw it because it looked like one of the guys.
Oh my gosh!
See what I mean?
Wow!
It's sick.
That is sick.
Like that's the thing we need.
Wow!
Things that make you want to enjoy playing the game. Things that make you excited about the game. It's not just you can say the missions are needed, the content is needed, but sometimes, you just need that little piece of loot that you're hoping to get to make you feel like you're enjoying this game again. For example, let's look at Ronaldo Machaco over here, who spent $10 on a emote because he enjoys DBC so much. Okay, it's
totally
worth it
worth
for you. It's not worth it for me, but that's not gonna take away the enjoyment that you have whenever you use it, right?
You're not a true fan. That's why. If you were a true fan, you would understand.
This emote, just so you know, Mumma, this emote is actually in Destiny. And every time I play the game with Justin, every match, he wants to do this like synchronization Dragon Ball Z emote with me every single time. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. But
Not
he
even
spent
with you,
$10
just
on it, and
everybody.
he's going to get every penny's worth out of it. That's his plan. So
Let me tell you something. I also got my money's worth on that awesome Sparrow. Phenomenal Sparrow.
yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yes. I spent $20. Yes, listeners, $20 on a Sparrow.
And you're getting free content, and you're not enjoying it. Give me a break, Ronaldo Machaco. It's the fact that we're getting really cool loot for Anthem. For me, it's a blessing. It's something that the game really needed it. And sometimes, you just need that little spark to make you enjoy it. It's the same thing with anything in life, with writing books or writing fan fiction or anything like that. Sometimes you just need a little bit of a spark to, make you get, to your creative, juices coming out, and you understand how you want to go for it, Like, I know a lot of people are going to be looking at these weapons and armor, and they're just going to go to town making fan art and making, like, background lore for it and stuff like that. It's for me, I'm okay with it.
So much can come out of that.
Yeah.
Like you said, fan art especially.
Oh yeah, no, I love that's one of the things that I really do love about the Anthem community is when you're out there and you're talking with people. There's so many people with different talents that is just absolutely amazing. Like we've got Kristen Hill, who does like the amazing just storylines and does this fan fiction for Anthem that's just out of this world. And we've got people that have done all kinds of drawing interpretations and graphic design, and Marlon's done some pretty amazing stuff as well. I mean, it's just very, very cool. Yeah, he's hiding. I think he's blushing. But just so everybody knows, Marlon's just an unbelievable graphic designer. But I mean, some of the stuff that's come out of the Anthem community is just absolutely, so cool.
And everyone wants to help each other as well. That's what's so cool. Like I put up a poll the other day. I think it was a poll, but people just helping each other. Like, and I can't remember what it was about. Oh, I think it was the strongholds.
Yeah. Which one was your favorite?
Just giving advice. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. And people just giving advice on how to do it in a certain way so they don't get one-shotted. And it's, it's amazing.
Yeah, really. I remember seeing that where people were just like, oh, yeah, no, you should hide behind this pillar, or you should do this.
Yeah, or do this or do that. And, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's very, very cool when you see stuff like that pop up. So, I mean, just why don't you give us your thoughts, just kind of in general, on, Anthem community, things that you're involved with in the community itself. I know you've got a little bit of a group that you tend to roll with. You want to talk about them and how that came to be?
Well, I got invited to their little group.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now they just look out for me all the time.
Yeah, you're one of the tyrants, huh?
I'm the only girl. Great. They help. They honestly, I was complaining because I couldn't get a legendary. I got one.
Yeah.
And then I just didn't get any for so long. And then one night, a slice of pizza and all right, Den said, right, that's it. We're getting you a Lego this weekend. It's on. We're gonna do it. So we go on the Friday night, and I came out of there with 4 Legos. They got zilch.
Wow.
And by the end of the weekend, I was like, I had like 8. I was like, how many did you get then, guys? Well, got one. It was a dupe.
We found the anti-Joe.
All right, Mama.
Pretty sure that's me.
Here's the thing. If there's one guy in our group of clan mates and stuff like that gets everything on the first go, it's Joe. And the thing that really annoys me is the fact that I'm like you, that some miracle has to happen. The stars have to align for something to drop for me.
Yep.
And this guy just walks in like nothing. Oh, I'll pick that exotic. Oh, I'll pick the legendary. Oh, I'll pick that. And I'm going, really? Nothing here? No sharing?
Yeah, he always gets he always gets the legendaries or the exotics or whatever. He always gets them, right? But they're not just like just a legendary exotic. He always gets like the god roll version of whatever it is. You know? It's
and it's not just
you end up with dupes. Oh, I got one. Oh, already got it.
Yeah, and he dismantles it like it's nothing,
weeks.
and you're still waiting for yours, and you're like, are you kidding me? Like, and it's not just in any specific game. It's like anything. Like it could be The Division, it could be Borderlands, it could be anything. He's like, oh yeah, I already have it. It's like, but it just came out today. Yeah, I already have it. It's like, how? So it's I'll tell you, Joe has some. I tell you, he should play the lottery because the guy has some massive luck. I'll tell you that.
So I feel like if you've got all these lost boys, so you've got to be the Wendy, with your group of your Taiko tyrants there.
I'll keep him in line. That's what I do.
No, they all seem like a really cool group of.
They are, and they look out for me. Bless them. And
they
but everyone's amazing. Like so supportive of me. Like. Just the amount of messages I get and just say thank you for doing this, and I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, well,
it's something I'm passionate about.
Well, we're glad you are, because I mean you're definitely one of the people that is out there pushing the community and keeping them in the right direction. And I'll tell you, from a group of guys that decided that they were going to get together and base a radio show on Anthem. We appreciate you. So
you guys do an amazing job as well, and well done for sticking with it.
We are doing our best every time.
We try. Sometimes it doesn't work because we try the best we can do.
Yeah, we're just a bunch of goofballs that like playing games. A bunch of men that decided that they weren't going to grow up completely. So.
Trust me, I'll be 85 years old, and I'll still have my Destiny jackets. I'll still play video games, stuff like that. My grandkids,
why not?
My grandkids will be asking me, "Hey, can you give me the Konami code?" You still don't know that stuff. Up, down, left, right. It just mess with them, that's the thing that just I enjoy about video games. It's that. People think of it as like this little thing that is from your childhood, but no, it's not. It's something that you enjoy because it's all these wonderful memories and those are wonderful adventures that you go on through, and then you meet up other wonderful people that just enjoy the same hobby that you enjoy, and it's something that you just make lifelong friends with it, And for me, that's awesome,
Yeah, we would have never met Mumma, and I mean honestly, none of us would have met each other either. I mean, we live all over the country and different places, and we just kind of, honestly, it was very random, but we found each other by playing games together online, just kind of jumping in on different groups and like, oh yeah, man, that's a cool guy. Bring him into the group, So we kind of grew from there, and our clan or whatever you want to call it. I mean, we've got probably 25 guys or so that jump in and out, different games, different times, just depending on what's going on at any given time. And then we started a podcast. So it's just, I don't know. It's cool how it just kind of all goes from one thing to the next. So let's get into some of our off Anthem topics. We saw some stuff about the Stadia pricing model that came out this week, and I'm kind of worried that Google may have made this thing like a dead-on arrival with the way that they're pricing it. Basically, what I'm noticing from the pricing model is that they're going to charge you $9.99 a month. And then you have to pay full price for the games, but then you don't have physical copies either. So everything's digital. And with everything the way that has been going with, content suppression on Google platforms like YouTube and some of the nonsense that goes on with Twitter and Facebook with censoring people and things like that. Well, if you have content that you purchased on a Google platform and then Google says, no, you're out. Well, what happens to all your content on a Google platform? Do you lose access to that? I guess that's a little bit of my concern with the whole Stadia thing and what Google's kind of been doing lately as a whole. Anybody else have any thoughts on how that's working out? $9.99 a month, plus got to pay full price for it.
Isn't the $9.99 month for the pro subscription? I believe you don't have to pay that, and you
don't have to.
So you
don't
bought a
get
game.
That 4K.
Yeah, you don't get the 4K, but if you bought a game, you can still play it.
Yeah, but I don't think you can even get. I would be surprised if you're going to be streaming at 4K anyway in 99% of the country. I mean, there's very few
where you live. Yeah,
very few places that push 4K. And then on top of that, if you want to push 4K, okay, because I used to do a lot of audiovisual stuff. If you want to push 4K, you've got to have the 4K box. You've got to have the 4K cables. You got to have the 4K input. You got to have the information coming in at 4K. You got to be able to produce it at 4K. I mean, there's a lot of 4K stuff that has to come together for you to be able to receive true 4K on any kind of system. And with the speeds of most of America's system and most of Europe, I just don't see that, pushing 4K to TV screen on a regular basis.
How many people actually run 4K right now anyways? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of PlayStation Pros and Xbox X's and S's.
Yeah, but I mean,
how many? What's the other population of not 4K people?
But next gen, you think about it, next gen, all the consoles, it's going to be standard.
Yeah. So
it's going to be in there, but it's not necessarily, I guess,
8K, baby. 8K.
Yeah, but nobody's going to have an 8K anything at that point. I mean, it'll be good for 5 years down the line or whatever when we get to being able to push 8K.
These only lasting like 2 to 3 years, and then it'll come out with something.
No, PlayStation. We've had PlayStation. I've had my PlayStation 4 for 9 million years now.
All right, so here's the thing.
And then there's PlayStation Slim, and then there's PlayStation Pro. The consoles keep getting updated. It's the same gen, but you're getting a new console. It's like you want to keep.
So I want to just let you go a little bit of the numbers so you understand how it's going on here. So when Google announced the Stadia would do 4K and 60 frames per second streaming, this is what they said. Would take 35 megabytes to stream your games at 4K and 60 frames per second. 1080p 60 frames per second will require 20 megabytes, and 720p 60 frames per second will take 10 megabytes. The mathematicians over a PC gamer realized that it will take about 15.75 gigabytes of data for every hour of 4K streaming. So if your internet provider has a cap limit on your monthly, speeds or your monthly, usage of data.
Information usage. Yeah, before they downgrade you.
SOL.
You're gonna be pretty much screwed, and you're gonna be paying a pretty penny for that. So again, it's a cool concept. I don't know if we have the infrastructure to support something like that in that type of scale. I'm not even looking at the perspective of how much it's gonna cost. I'm just looking at the perspective of how much is it gonna eat up. It's like, for example, anyone who has high-speed internet and says, hey, listen, I can do this, I have no problem with that, that's fine. But not everyone has that. Not everyone has Google fiber wire on their houses, and not everyone can support that.
Yep. But Google's not even really pushing their fiber wire anymore. Mm-hmm. I've got 130 megabits per second coming into my house here. Right, that's the speed I'm supposed to have. But by the time by the time my wife's on her laptop and my daughter's on her laptop, and we've got 3 phones, and you guys are hitting me up on the Discord or whatever while I'm trying to play the game and everything else. I mean, I'm less than half of that all day long, if not more. And then if you want to be honest, okay, let's say I'm getting like 78 megabits per second. If I go ahead and I run the speed on my PS4, every single time, I'm in the 20s to 30s range, because that's all Sony is pushing out.
Right.
So that's all I can get. So it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening with this Google Stadia. I think it's definitely a next gen concept, and it's smart, and it might be something that's interesting to see. I just don't know if we're ready yet.
Let me ask you this, Mama. Since I am from, the States, we're all from the States. How is the situation up in, the Isles of the UK and London when it comes to just internet providers and how much they charge per packets? Do they have like a different package, different orders, or do you guys just get like, 2 terabytes per month or something like that? Like, how's the...
Yeah. So the way, you've got various companies, and so they'll offer a cheaper option, and then gradually like build up to like like an ultimate package where it's like super fast broadband, and so I mean something like that can, I don't know, like the a lot of different price grades. Like for me, I still have to go for like one of the highest ones because my kids use it. My son's got an Xbox. Gotcha. I've got an Xbox, and you've got laptops and phones and everything like that. So yeah, I'd imagine nowadays, like, unless you were just using it for like your phone or your laptop, that most people here would have like the higher end pricing. And that's about, I don't know, like 40-50 pounds. I don't know what that is there.
All right, so
it's like $50-$60.
Yeah.
Which is about the same. It's about the same of what we pay. I mean, I think I pay $45 a month, but I have to bundle it with other.
Yeah.
The sales. Like, how?
Bundle it with the TV to get that price. You know.
Right. Yeah.
That's the issue that I see, because for me to get the internet, I have to bundle it with Xfinity, and that's the way that my bracket is. I'm dealing with $200-$300 per month because of the internet, the cable, and all that stuff, and it gets expensive because if I want to cut my cable, I'm basically have to cut my internet as well. And if I want to change into a lower packet, and that doesn't work for me because I have 4 TVs in the house. I got everybody using a laptop. You got 3 PS4s. It doesn't really help me. And you can say, "Oh, that's a first world problem. I don't know why you're complaining. There's a lot of other people having with other issues, But that's my issue with this.
Because he's a gamer.
Yeah.
These are gamer issues, is what it is.
Well, it's gamers, that's why.
We deal in megabytes, megabytes per second. These are first world problems, but these are first world gamer problems, is what they are.
We need the highest package.
We need 4K, everything.
We need it all.
That's for sure.
It's going to be funny looking back on, sorry to cut you off, KJ, but can you imagine 30, 40 years from now, we're like all gamers is like, I used to play when it was 720p, now it's 24K, and all these youngins using all their VRs, flying and stuff like that. Oh, that's not what a gamer used to do.
You don't know how lucky you are. We never had that back in the day.
We needed a guy to be able to beat the level. Now the guy is already embedded into the game. You can just scroll down the list.
I already do that with you guys, and I'm sitting there talking about some of the games that I used to play when I was a kid. I'm like, you guys don't know nothing.
Pong. You used to play Pong, for crying out loud.
I used to play Pong.
Hey, I have
price of being the old man. What's up, buddy?
I have a kind of a thing I heard about. I think it was yesterday, actually. I listened to another podcast. It's called Lou Later. Marlon, You ever heard Lou Later?
Yes, I have.
So like they were saying that they were doing some interviews with Google and that they were talking about introducing a new OS system. I guess they might go away from Android. They might not. They're developing a new OS. So anyways,
okay.
The question was prompted to Google. What really is Google? Is it an AI system company? I remember Google just being a search engine.
Yeah.
That's all I remember Google was.
They're a little bit of everything now, though. It's Alphabet is actually the name of the
exactly,
company.
But what is their big plan?
The big plan is world domination.
Is
Yeah,
it?
they're going to take over the world.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you want to know what Google really is, Google, Amazon, Facebook, those three, their actual business is information.
Yeah.
That is their business.
Data.
They are shaping and taking information and taking it in, disseminating it the way that they want it sent back out, and they are basically, in a lot of ways, I would say even manipulating opinions to make you want to buy certain things, enjoy certain things, do certain things. And there's a sales tool, and they buy and sell information. That's their main thing.
At the end of the day, that's what all these companies are, because they are literally taking. When Facebook came into the picture, people saw it as like, oh, I can talk with my friends that I haven't seen in such a long time. Companies realize, wait, we have a huge conglomeration of just users with data, with money, with information that we can exploit or we can use for our advantages when it comes to selling our own products with this,
Mm-hmm.
And Google realized that, hey, we used to be a search engine in the internet. Hey, if we are able to use this information in a specific way, we're able to create and generate money for ourselves. When they bought YouTube, they were getting themselves into a situation where now we have a platform that we can control, and then we can direct on how people use their videos and stuff like that. Now we understand where we have a platform that is literally like a TV, where we have sponsors coming in and paying money for us to be able to put their ads into this whole thing. And that's what Disney does. That's what Facebook does. That's what Amazon and all these companies that just use your data for either shoving you information or trying to sell you something. And that's what they do. And it works. It's a wonderful business model because it generates a lot of money, but it also has a lot of power and also has a lot of
they're basically nudging you.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that I'm not going to get a loading screen with Google Stadia. I'm going to get an advertisement.
Well,
they might do that. You never know.
Basically, I think, here's what it's going to come down to, in the next 5 to 10 years, with the way that a lot of these different platforms are going and the way that they're, using information and actually using your own information that you put into the system to, help work and shape your thoughts, opinions, whatever. There's going to come a time where, we're going to kind of be wondering whether, did we think that we wanted that, or was it Google that thought that we wanted that?
Oh, of course. I mean, that's happening on Instagram right now.
Right?
Yeah. I bought something on Amazon, and now my Instagram is showing me stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You thought you were talking about something with a friend the other day, and then all of a sudden it starts popping up as advertisements in your feed, and you're like, I didn't talk into my
that's really
phone.
Weird. That freaks me out.
Search
I'll tell you
for
something that really make me laugh. Here's a little thing for you. If you don't think that this is all BS, that we're just making it up, here's a little thing for the listeners. Do this. Go to your laptop, say something about, you're trying to get, dog food, cat food, you're looking for like a movie, a specific movie, and say that. Then open up your browser, and you're going to see that the first thing that pops up in the ads section of that specific browser might have something to do with what you were talking about. And you would think that your mic was not on, you would think that your camera was on, but Google can understand cues in their software when people are talking about a specific product. They are not doing it as a malicious way to, take over the world, but they're doing it as a way to be able to put out the best product that you can buy from
grab
them.
information to sell products.
Exactly.
That's what they're doing.
So
it
and
could
it
be
works
used
with anything.
maliciously. I'm just going to throw that out there. It can be. Could be.
Yes,
Could be.
Stay offline, everybody. Stay
Skynet.
offline.
Just
Hey, look at-
Skynet.
All right, Terminator, relax.
I'm
Like,
just
look at this.
saying, man. There's always the possibility of Skynet.
Look at
So
this.
you got AI, all this stuff that's coming out. It freaks the heck out of me because I grew up in the '80s and the Terminator was real. And
Yeah, same.
it's just just every time
just
people
gets
start
you, huh?
talking about this stuff, I'm just like, oh my God, Skynet.
Here's the thing. Here's a funny thing that happened.
Getting closer.
So Justin was talking about getting himself some new Yeezys and stuff like that, and we were talking about it on the Discord. We were talking about it on text messages and stuff like that. Next thing I know, there's like 100 ads on Amazon for Yeezys, and I'm going, I don't like this shoe. I don't want this shoe. I don't need this kind of stuff show into my face. And next time I see Justin, I'm gonna smack him over the head for it.
It
just goes to show.
Chaco's fault.
It just goes to show that people are listening to our podcast.
Yes, somebody's listening to something. Somebody's listening to something somewhere. That's what it proves. Yep. Even if it's an AI someplace in Google's database or something like that, somebody's listening to us.
As long as there's a buyer that listening to this going, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I'm gonna put it into the GPS.
Well,
I'll just jot this down now.
Here's the thing: is I think that eventually, as much as I understand a lot what they're trying to do from a business model perspective and stuff like that, a lot of it's it's smart to a point, but people do enjoy their privacy, and I think that what's going to end up happening is that a lot of this stuff may eventually backfire big time on these companies. I think we're already starting to see a little bit of it, and they're going to end up with a little bit of a bad reputation. And speaking of bad reputations,
Ooh.
did you see that transition there? Was that
Yeah,
great?
I did.
Oh,
That
that
was
was good.
I thought
That was
it
really
was
good.
That's good.
Dang.
Anyway,
Smooth.
speaking about bad reputations, EA seems to be blaming their customers for them having a bad reputation. That was one of the articles that came out this week. And there was another article by an EA, I don't know, some head vice president guy that makes buku more money than all of us put together, just on his bonus that he supposedly gave away, but not really. They was like, I don't think that EA is a bunch of bad guys. I just can't see us as a bunch of bad guys. I'm not going to bring up people's names and stuff like that. I'm not too concerned with that. But we've had a little bit of this discussion before, and just I want to bring it up again. The reputation of EA is really starting to get super negative. And we all, have our feelings about the way EA, BioWare, whose fault it was. We saw our Jason Schreier article that came out and whatever, and there's a little bit of positioning on that back and forth. But, what are we thinking about this? EA's bad reputation, it being the customers not understanding them. I just personally think it's like, hey, look, do unto others as you would, have them do unto you. And I don't think that there's a lot of that going on in business nowadays. And it kind of ties in with some of this information sharing and all of this other stuff that's going on, because like some of these companies that are using loot boxes, like King, right, with Candy Crush, they're bringing in actual psychologists to build into their games things that become addictive. Now, I'm always been one for let the free market reign, let people decide. But when you're like literally like basically messing with people's heads, I think it's kind of taking it too far. I think you're deserving a bad reputation. What are you thinking about EA's reputation, Mr. Marlin?
Here's the thing. So the viewers out there probably are not going to be understand this, but this is look into the little thing, okay? We're going to make sure that you're going to buy all of our loot boxes because we're
Marlin's
the
in the
good
process
guys.
of
We're not the
Surprise
bad guys.
mechanics.
So
God.
my issue with this is it's very simple. When you are blaming the customer for not buying your product, you have some major issues, okay? Because if your product is, shall we say, trash, people are not gonna buy it. And if your company is deemed as toxic by not just one person, but by the entire community of the gaming industry, because they don't want to deal with your, practices, you are just setting yourself up for failure. Now, I had a discussion the other episode with Andrew because we were talking about you're making it seem like it's the gamer's fault, for Anthem. But the thing is this though, like Mama said, the community can be toxic at times, but if your company is not willing to amend for situations that you yourself created, you're not gonna be winning any awards for, best company of the year. And talking about best company of the year, EA has been voted for the past 3 years as the worst company in gaming industry. So how can you come out and tell me that I don't think we're the bad guys? No, you may not think you're the bad guys, but your entire credit shows that you're not doing things correctly, So
Hey, the bad guys never think they're a bad guy.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, right? Like, I mean, it's the individuals that work there. I mean, the Joe Schmo, game developer that goes in every day and they do the work and whatever else. I mean, they're not a bad. It's not like they're a bad person, And I would never want to put that out there that those people are, awful, and they're not. They're going in, they're doing their job every day, just like the rest of us. It just the way that they're manipulating things to attempt to basically, in a lot of ways, screw over the customer. I think makes the company itself, if that's going to be your business practice, to basically attempt to screw your customer every time, I think that that's a problem. And it wouldn't, typically I'm all for, surprise mechanics. Look, you've got the option to buy them. You know what? Grow yourself some willpower and don't purchase if you don't want it. If you don't want to pay for the money, don't purchase it. That's pretty much my stance on things like that. But when they're bringing in psychologists to try to build a system in which psychologically attempts to subdue you into purchasing more, I think there's a problem with that in itself. I have a problem with that. There's got to be a balance somewhere in between.
What about you, Mama?
I don't
Who do you
mind.
think, Quiet Man?
Come on, Andrew.
About what exactly? About EA or?
Yeah, just EA in general. What
I need
are
you
your
to
thoughts
help
on
me.
EA in general? What are your thoughts on the whole loot box with psychologists or not loot box, special surprise mechanics?
Help
Whatever.
me defend EA.
Fun
Remember,
boxes.
EA was the game. EA was all about sports. EA FIFA, EA NASCAR back in like 2005, NHL, EA. Come on, you just got to take it back to that EA. Just remember the good times of EA.
I mean, I don't like a lot of their practices. I mean, I don't think a lot of people don't, but I like a lot of their games. Unfortunately, that's the problem. I think that's the problem with a lot of people. They like their games.
Yeah.
And it's not going to stop for a while. I guess until the overall community gets completely sick of it.
Do we just put a line in the sand and say we're not buying any more loot boxes? I mean, is that what you? I mean, I just don't see that ever happen.
I don't think you're going to get rid of surprise mechanics. If they're done right, most games could. I feel like it's an optional thing, kind of like Destiny, where like a lot if they have the right kind of system in place. For example, like Destiny, I'm just use Destiny as an example. They have Bright Dust, which lets you buy a lot of that content
Yeah.
within the game without having to ever spend money. And then there's, of course, money-specific
certain
things that
items.
you only have to buy with actual money, but you don't have to get those. I mean, that's just optional stuff. And then you could also buy the free stuff ahead of time if you want to do that. But that's all optional, though. In a game where, like, I guess Star Wars, when it first came out, where it was pretty much pay to win, I do not like that. Like, I don't like anything pay to win.
I hate that.
I absolutely despise pay to win. But then, like, I'm just looking at, like, Overwatch's loot box system, and to me, that's an excellent system as well. I mean, it's you get loot box per level. Every time you level up, you get free ones throughout the year and whatnot. And it's all just cosmetic stuff. It's nothing to pay to win or anything like that.
Yeah.
But so if EA could implement some of those, I guess, systems in place in their games, then I think it'll course correct itself. But EA is too focused on trying to make money to
see. I think if you bettered your reputation, then people would be more willing to spend. Right?
How do you better your reputation? How do you do that after this?
Well, I mean, you have to
by-
change. You have to change the whole system of how you're doing things. I mean, if you're going to continue to build games that are pay to win, then it's going to continue to be a problem. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, when I go on, and I was playing Dauntless there for a while, it wasn't pay to win, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't mind paying a little bit of money for some of the cool cosmetics that were involved in it. I mean, I made my dude look like Star-Lord. I was cool with that, man. I enjoyed that. But, like, I could have continued to work real hard in that game to be able to get that, but it would have taken me, 10 times longer. Yeah, 10 times longer to do it. But, I mean, I don't mind spending a little bit of extra money as long as it doesn't feel like that's the only way I'm going to achieve something in the game.
But see, like, a step in the right direction, for example, was Apex Legends. Don't get me wrong. I never downloaded the game. I never played a single second of it. I have seen gameplay on it, but it was a free to play game, and people ate it up.
Yep.
Free to play games it unfortunately is the way to go. So, I mean, I don't know how you generate any revenue other than cosmetics and stuff like that, with a free-to-play game.
I'm
not sure if it's the way to go. I'm not sure if it's the way to go. I think the free-to-play system works well in, like, short loop games, like Battle Royales and multiplayer, like quick multiplayer games and stuff like that. You start trying to get into, like a Witcher-type game or something like that. Your free-to-play is definitely not the way to go for that.
No, trust me.
Anthem was supposed to be a live service game where, there was a weekly conversation between developers and players on a regular basis. And then that was supposed to produce ongoing content and things like that. I mean, you would literally, I couldn't see you ever being able to do that with a free-to-play game because content's supposed to be updated so often. Obviously, that's not happening in Anthem right now, but that is, I think, still probably the end game goal for them is that it finally begins to become a conversation again somewhere along the line. I think I'm really hoping that all we got to do is get over this major hurdle before we start to see that.
That's kind of what I was talking about, I think, in a previous podcast as well. Is like they have this lack of content. And it really sucks that this Cataclysm is still only a timed event.
8 weeks just isn't like.
I mean, those 8 weeks I feel like are going to be pretty fun. But what's going to be right after that Cataclysm? Like, how much?
Okay,
how
it's
much
done now.
do?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like this.
So what happens to the weapons? Do the weapons just like fly up into the air and they disappear?
They've gone now.
They grab wings and they just fly away. And
well, I mean, obviously we're going to be able to, there's going to be new items that are kept and whatever else. But I have a feeling that once we close the Cataclysm or whatever, that there's going to be a new area that's opened up to us. And,
I would hope so. I would really hope so.
God, I hope so.
It'd be very, very big missed opportunity if they don't.
Yeah.
That's
So,
for sure. That's
let me
for
ask
sure.
you, our guest. So, what do you think about EA, Mama? Like, do you think that they should? Do you have any ideas of how they could, change their reputation? Do you have any ideas of how they could, maybe mitigate some of the toxicity that they keep having?
So I think a lot of it's really started when Battlefront 2, the whole, the pay to win and the pay to progress. I did not agree with that one bit, and they, but they really need to take a turn in what, like, Anthem does. All right, I'm quite happy. Well, apart from a couple of things, rat prices.
Thank you. Finally, somebody understands this. Thank you.
But apart from that, I'm quite happy. Like the store will come up. If I don't want anything, no, that's fine. If I do, okay, I'll get it. It would be better if we could get more coin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the Alliance coin if people start playing the game more regularly again, that Alliance coin might actually,
might bump up a bit more.
Might bump up a little bit more too. I mean, I was getting 12,000 a week at one point, and now if I get 1,000, 2,000 a week, it's it's a lucky week at this point. But I mean, that'll be a help, but at the same time, no, you're right. Like, it's something we've talked about in the past, is that, like, that coin. I mean, if that was my job as a freelancer and I was going out there risking my life every day, I don't want to get paid.
Yeah, I want to pay right now. Okay, you're not paying me enough.
I'd be talking to Yarrow and be like, dude, you need to fork over some coin.
Put my life on the line here.
Dude, can you? No, I would laugh my butt off if Bioware did something like cheeky. Says, with Yarrow going, here, I have a special box for you. I call it a surprise mechanic. You open it up and just grab it coming out. And so like, okay, that's a surprise mechanic, all right?
So one of the last things we wanted to get into tonight was Andrew had brought up the Nintendo Switch Lite, which I guess is a new something. New console, right? That's coming out, and Justin, I know, is hot to trot about it too. So I'm going to open that up and let Andrew give us a little bit of a lowdown on the Nintendo Switch Lite, and Justin, I'm sure you're going to jump in there because you've got your excited face on. I can already see it. So Andrew, take it away.
All right, so I guess like KJ said, the Nintendo Switch Lite was kind of announced today. So some of the key specs on it. It has a 5.5-inch touchscreen. It's about half an inch or 0.7 inches smaller than the original Switch. It has an all-in-one design, meaning the Joy-Cons don't detach. It's almost
like a Game Boy Pro.
It's almost like a giant Game Boy, pretty much. Game Boy Advance, if you think about it. But anyways, it has a D-pad now on the one side because the Joy-Cons don't come off. Improved battery life, no rumble functions, and then it doesn't have the ability to dock anymore. It's meant to be just more portable. Okay. And then I think it's available in 3 colors: yellow, gray, and turquoise, and it's available for $200 US.
Now, did the same games from the original Switch go into that though?
Yes. So it plays all the regular Switch games. It cannot play the Labo though. It won't fit in that. That was more motion sense stuff anyways.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess it's just like a cheaper alternative to the current Switch, and is maybe more friendly towards, I guess, new users, kids maybe, that type of stuff. I think most people were wanting, though, I think a lot of the reviews right now are kind of mixed, or the reactions are kind of mixed, like positive and negative.
Mm-hmm.
I think most people were looking more forward to like I guess more pro version of a Switch. I guess how much.
There was rumor for like the longest time that there was going to be a pro version being released for like a 4K, better graphics, better everything else, and then there's going to be a light version, which is what we got today. So maybe there might be another announcement, is what I'm thinking, for the, late future. But there are certain games that you can play only with this Nintendo Switch Lite. It says on the back of each game box that will tell you, it will say if it's capable of being played in handheld mode. And if you play in handheld mode, that means the Switch Lite will be able to play that set game. They announced a bunch of games. So stuff like 1-2 Switch, you cannot play. Games like Robo Labo, like that Andrew mentioned, cannot play. And it is targeted for the younger audience. And it's supposed to have a longer lasting battery life, too.
Yeah, I can see, like back in the day when my son was much younger, like 7 or 8, he would have been freaking out about this thing. For sure. Like, would have been freaking out about this thing. I couldn't pull his Game Boy Advance from his hands when he was that age. So
I was pretty much the same way. So
yeah, you guys are, yeah, you're like almost as old as my oldest one. So
at least this has like a built-in mic screen though. I remember just sitting underneath lights and stuff, trying to just be able to see my screen and whatnot. The good old days.
Yeah.
I remember when the Game Boy was yellow. Had the yellow screen. So
don't even remind me of that. I remember playing the Game Boy and sitting in the car while we're driving from one area to the other one and trying to see one of the post lights could actually shine through the window and actually I understand and see what Mario is while playing this game. So I'm gonna put it to our guests. So what is your thoughts on the Nintendo Switch Lite, Mama? Since you do have kids and stuff like that.
Yeah, my son would be all over that. He's 8. He has a DS at the moment, and he's on that all the time. Yeah, he'll be all over that, guaranteed. Yeah. I think it's more based towards kids and the younger ones. It gives them just a lighter version to like carry around with them.
Yeah.
I know my son likes taking his from room to room to room. And, they can take it, well, much like... I don't have a Switch. I really want a Switch, by the way.
I think
you need to get one.
Switch Lite for yourself, I'll tell you that.
Anyone wants to get me one, by the way.
That's a good one.
Just putting it out there.
Anybody wants to buy Mama a Switch?
Yeah.
That's a box.
Come on, bring it.
My favourite list. Like, my favourite.
Nice.
Well, the thing is though, like this thing has been released. I think it's actually pretty good timing. What's happening is we're kind of getting towards the end of summer. Kids are going to be talking about, a few of the cool kids. They're going to go ahead and they're going to get one right before going back to school.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, right? I think it comes out in September of this year. So
there you go. They're going to have it. They're going to have it. They're going to have it early, right as school's rolling out, and then all of a sudden you've got your push for Christmas.
Yeah.
And that's going to be I bet you that is going to be one of the big pushes this Christmas.
Yeah,
is that
be number
Nintendo
one
Switch.
on the Christmas
Trust me.
thing.
Here's the thing for me.
So I don't know about... Oh,
no,
sorry, go on.
No, sorry, Mama. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know about, like, over there, but, like, here, they start getting Christmas stuff out in, like, early September.
Yeah.
No.
Like, yeah. We have, like, Christmas food out in August.
What?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
No, we wait till
Literally
They'll do it very subtly.
Thanksgiving night is there.
Exactly.
Yes, Thanksgiving night over here.
It's like kind of rolls out, but by the end of September, boom, that's it. Like we're in.
Well, we'll start seeing some Christmas stuff immediately following Halloween, but the push. The push for Christmas is after Thanksgiving because we have Thanksgiving here, and Thanksgiving is a big deal so far as like family time for us. So, the day after that evening, Thanksgiving evening, is what we call Black Friday, and that's the night that
we have Black Friday now.
Everything just goes nuts on Black Friday.
Yeah, it's Black Thursday, Black Friday, Black Saturday, Black Sunday, Cyber Monday, Cyber Tuesday, Cyber. It's forget it.
Goes on forever.
Yeah, it does go on forever now.
Also, before I I don't want to cut you off, KJ, but there's also another one for Ronaldo Machak over here, since I'm guessing you're gonna be playing Pokemon Sword and Shield. They have announced
Yes.
Sword and Shield version of the Nintendo Switch Lite. I'm pretty sure that anybody who enjoys the, I want to say, Scottish lands and the UK will be playing a lot of these games, and I'm surprised that they're coming out with this type of color, because usually when it comes to Nintendo consoles, they usually push the Pikachu version. So the fact that they're pushing the legendaries on this specific one, kind of for me makes me go,
Yes.
Okay, that seems pretty cool for the most part. Because I the last time we got a legendary version of a console was not a Pikachu version first. I guess I want to say Palkia and Dialga for the Nintendo for the DS Lite, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember the X and Y came out for the 3DS, but that was after they came out with the 3DS version of Pikachu. So it's gonna be fun.
All right, you guys had a whole show last week to talk nothing but Pokemon.
We did. We did actually.
Hey,
It's
it
so-
did
so-
show up. What do you want
I
me to
listened
do?
to that. I listened to that show, and I learned more about Pokemon than I could ever possibly have ever wanted to know about
Pokemon.
Just released new
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
I don't know, man.
God, don't even get me
Sorry, not a Pokemon person. Never will be. My son's into it. My daughter likes collecting the cards.
And God bless their souls for that.
Yes.
Look, I'm
For
just
sure.
happy
But no,
that we're
no,
getting a London, region. That's all I'm happy. That we're getting the UK region. I'm happy with that. Okay. And no, that's not pandering to Rock
But
Mama here. But
Midge
I'm
and I
happy for
listened
it, okay?
to Midge and I listened to your Pokemon podcast, whatever you guys were doing last week. I don't know what the hell you guys were doing. This is what happens, people, when I'm not here. I'm just letting you know. Okay.
Yes.
When I let these guys just
Papa
run
KJ,
wild,
not here.
that's what happens. You get Pokemon. Anyway, all right. So let's move on to one of our favorite parts of any show. We're going to talk about the things we are obsessed with, and we're going to let our guest talk about her thing that she's obsessed with this week first. Could be anything. So go for it, Mama. What are you obsessed with?
Right. It's going to sound really weird. But frozen peas. Now, bear with me.
What?
Right? I have
What?
sprained, I have
I love
frozen
it.
Bring
peas.
it on. Bring it on.
I
This
have
sounds
sprained
awesome.
my ankle. And it is swollen.
Oh,
Just put frozen peas on the slash. That and pizza. I've got real craving for pizza at the moment.
sounds.
So see,
I'm going to blame
Justin?
on the ankle.
Nice.
Justin, you were burning your pizza earlier tonight, and
It was.
Mama already has an obsession for
Yeah.
pizza going on this week.
I apologize for burning that pizza too. It's probably gonna taste horrible.
So, Mr. Justin, what are you obsessed with this week, my friend?
Oh my goodness. I have some stories to share with you all. 4th of July weekend was epic.
Yeah.
So that's a story for the chat. I'm sorry,
Okay.
podcasters. I
can't share that one, huh? That's not
Yeah, I
PG.
can't. It's not. I even have video footage of it. It's nuts. But on Saturday the 6th, I went to the Anime Expo, and it was phenomenal. We got tickets to see My Hero Academia Season 4, Episode 1.
Oh,
And
you
I'll have
lucky.
to say this, that the first episode left you on a cliffhanger, and now I have to wait until October for the second episode to continue with that season.
Why would
But
you do
it
that to
was-
yourself, though?
And- and-
I didn't know it was going to be a cliffhanger.
Why is Marlon and Andrew both crying right now? I don't understand this. Why?
No,
I'm pretty.
Well, Andrew's a
laughing
single
about the
that
whole
show is
situation, okay? I'm laughing about the whole situation because I knew that was gonna happen. I'm in the manga. I'm like really ahead of this guy. So
I know
knew
you are.
that-
I know you
so
are.
for
That's
me, like,
why
you
I find
doing
it
this to yourself,
surprising.
man?
Yeah, I know what happens in the manga as well in this next arc. So
Yeah, see, it shows in that. Okay, so you guys know it shows in that scene where he went and then he took out that guy with the magnet, and then
Don't spoil it for the viewers. You're horrible. You're absolutely horrible.
I don't think they heard anything except for a magnet.
yeah, that's just
Yeah, let's
magnet.
just leave it right there.
Anyways.
That's enough out of you.
So, anyways, onto some other stuff on Anime Expo. I got this lanyard from them showing my Anime Expo, pass that you have to carry around, and they were promoting this show called Doctor Stone.
Yeah, I seen that. Seen it on Crunchyroll.
Right. So I watched the first episode. Pretty good. Marlon and I had discussed about it a little bit. He's on the fence about it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Good show. Dr. Stone.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So, Mr. Andrew, what are you obsessed with this week, my friend?
Kind of going back to what I talked about a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you guys remember or not.
Work and sleep.
Quiet, but board games. One in particular called Pandemic. I'm not sure if you guys ever played it. Mm-mm. It's actually a 2 to 4 player cooperative board game where you're trying to cure like 4 diseases, and it can actually get very difficult. But it's a strategy game pretty much. You gotta just work together with whoever else is playing with you.
You said it's called Pandemic.
It's called
Pandemic. Yes. So me and my friend have been playing it. We finally beat it for the first time like over the weekend, and we're actually looking into. There's a bunch of expansion passes and other variants of the game now and stuff like that. So this actually has a lot of replay value to the game as well because a lot of the factors are random.
Is it family friendly? So that like if I had the girls and my son over, we could play.
Yes.
Okay,
cool. I definitely say it's geared towards a little bit the older crowd because of the difficulty of the game, not because of the appropriate levelness of it. Gotcha. But it's a difficult strategy game. No, it's not cards.
KJ, remember this though. Monopoly is ready for everyone, okay? And you know how much of a
but Monopoly gets
is pitting people against each other.
Monopoly gets absolutely vicious in this house, man. It is like cold stone killers playing Monopoly in our house.
Always
like you guys don't talk to each other.
Get Park Mall, and is it different? Like,
well, it's Park Place for us. It's not Park Mall.
Right.
Oh yeah, there you go. Like Park.
You know the really expensive ones, the 2 expensive ones.
Yeah, the 2 expensive.
Yeah,
Blues.
they're mine.
Yeah.
Boardwalk. Yeah.
If anyone else
says those are mine, nobody else takes those.
Mama's like, I already called those. Sorry.
I can just imagine just seeing MummaRocks going. Who put a hotel on Park Place?
Who done that?
Now.
Take your hotel off of my place. It's mine.
So, Mr. Marlin, what are you obsessed with this week, friend?
Just wanted to piggyback on what Andrew said. So I tried to play Pandemic with a couple of friends of mine a couple of months back. I have never met a group of guys that says, "Listen, we're working to fix the cure, not make it worse. What are you doing?" Nice. So I never played it again after that because these people suck at cooperating with each other. It was just a mess. So what have I been obsessed with this week? First of all, after you guys know that a couple of weeks back, after literally what happens is that my birthday falls a week before Andrew's birthday. His birthday is the 4th of July. So
happy birthday to both of you.
America, because we passed it, we couldn't do a show. So here's the thing. I got gifted a Apple Watch for my birthday. So I've been realizing that I walk a lot, and I've been just realizing that I gotta get a little bit more, healthy when it comes to just my overall goals. But I am playing Destiny with my buddies, right? And while playing Destiny, I got a notification on my phone for Buffalo Wild Wings. So I'm looking at it and I'm going, what a bunch of Buffalo Wild Wings. And for some reason, this little thing made
Justin laughed his butt off the entire time because my accent is very weird. I get it. So
Justin has actually muted his mic because he is laughing so hard right now.
So basically, when instead of saying Buffalo Wild Wings, I said Buffalo Wild Wings.
Buffalo.
And he just literally went nuts. And then after this whole situation, he sent me a video of some random guy, half naked, says, "Welcome to Chili's," And from then on, it just went from "Welcome to Chili's" to some Buffalo Wild Wings. And it was just the entire, 35 minutes of just Buffalo. And it was just Justin's been laughing. You can tell he's just
he's probably going to have to get up to use the restroom in a minute. He's having such a hard time with this. It was a lot funnier when it was going on. Obviously, it's a pretty funny situation. Marlon, as everybody knows, Marlon English is his second language, so sometimes he will say some things and it doesn't quite come out the way that he intended it to.
Like Yoda, for crying out loud.
So we tend to have a good time with it. So
I'm pretty sure from now on, Justin's gonna be like, "Oh, Buffalo's in the party,"
Mr. Buffalo.
So basically, I've been going on for the most part for me. Man, it's been a crazy week. It's been hot again. This KJ. It's been hot again, and
yeah, it was I think it was 1:15 the other day. Feels like it was not fun, but yeah, I know all about it. That's for sure.
And I don't want to be like the mean guy in the group, but I was looking at Yahoo News the other day. It says marathon runners in the London Marathon are having a hard time because of the heat temperatures, and it shows 23 degrees Celsius, and I'm going, okay, give me a break. Okay? Come to Florida. I'm pretty sure you're gonna be melting.
Here's the thing about our summers: we get about a week in between June and August. We'll get it's been sunny for about 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks will be out there, constant rain.
Yeah.
Constant rain. But it hits 20. Everyone's out there in their shorts, bikinis, everything, lapping up that sun. Quick, heat.
Yeah, that's like us here, 80 degrees. It dips below 80 degrees Fahrenheit in Florida. And all the ladies put on their Ugg boots and go out in jean jackets and heavy weather gear. It's ridiculous.
Look,
it's 79 degrees outside.
Look at this. So let me tell you this. Let's say, for example, you go outside and it's I want to say 10 degrees Celsius, okay? For you guys, it's going, t-shirt, stuff like that, pair of shorts, stuff like that, maybe a light jacket stuff. No, Florida, fur coats, Uggs, winter coats, and I'm like, excuse me, it's cool, but not freezing.
Yeah, I need to come over here.
People would act like they were dying here in Florida.
Oh, I can't cope.
No, they really can't. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. So my obsession for the week has honestly been it's been a little bit of Destiny 2. I've been dude, I have been doing competitive Crucible an insane amount, and I've come to find, which makes very little sense to me, but I'm sure it has something to do with the way Destiny works, or algorithms. But I'm actually play better in competitive Crucible than I do in regular Crucible.
Really?
So my KD has actually gone up while playing in competitive. So that's kind of interesting. So I thought it was kind of cool. But I'm going to have to call on my friend Andrew to help me get this frickin' Luna's Howl, because I just need to get to that, what is it, Fabled or whatever?
Yes.
To get it at this point. Oh my gosh, absolutely ridiculous. What a
rank
quest.
are you now?
I'd gotten up to Brave 3 by myself, and I almost capped it. But I think Fabled I think you got to get through Mythic or something to get to Fabled.
Yeah, you got to get through Mythic, but yeah.
Yeah.
And so I haven't played Destiny forever now, but it was 2100.
2100 is Fabled.
Yeah, I've only.
Sorry guys, due to technical difficulties, this little part was cut off mid-recording, but don't worry, KJ will be back.
matches are going to be lost. There's nothing I can do about it. It's going to happen. Yeah, some of them are my fault. That's for sure. But that's okay. From there, I just want to get into, please follow us on. We've got a Facebook page. Honestly, we don't use it too much. We've got an Instagram. Justin posts something silly over there every once in a while. That's kind of his thing.
Every blue moon.
Yeah, it's like near and far. Honestly, you want to get in touch with us, Freelancer Radio, contact us on Twitter. I'm pretty much running that show over there at Twitter. Some of the other guys jump on there every once in a while, throw something up. But you'll get your best response for us over there. We're at Freelancer RADI1. I don't know why. Talked about this before. Couldn't get the Freelancer Radio. But we got Freelancer RADI1. And that's where you can find us. And you can follow us on YouTube as well by just searching for Freelancer Radio and look for the funny-looking guy in the Anthem, javelin. Want to thank our special guest, that MummaRocks. And Mumma, if you want to tell people where they can find you.
Yeah. So Twitter, obviously, because Twitter's the best. That MummaRocks on Twitter, and I'm also on Instagram as well. I don't post much to there. I mean, I do it occasionally. I've also got a new site coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, you want to plug that?
Yeah. I'm not going to give away the web address yet because everyone will go there and realise it's not complete.
The work in progress.
Like
work
I
in
said,
progress.
yeah, work in progress. Yeah. And like I said, there will be an Anthem focus there, and I've got a few people involved with that.
Oh, very exciting.
And there's also a giveaway on my Twitter at the moment that me and Anthem Universe doing.
That is awesome. That's very awesome.
I might
So,
sign up.
everybody, go over and try to win some prizes with our special friend here, that MummaRocks, over on Twitter. So that's pretty awesome.
And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, well, we loved having you. It's been great. We appreciate you coming and joining us and having fun with the guys here. And, obviously we've got plans for the future. We're looking forward to, all of our friends that we've gathered along the way to be a big part of that as we continue to support Anthem and move into the future. So with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So let's suit up and hit the high road. Strong alone, stronger together. Freelancers,
roll out.